Welcome to Best Friends in Franchising. I'm Morgan Knoller.
And I'm Catherine Allen.
If you're interested in franchising a new opportunity or diversifying your portfolio, you've come to the right place. We talk money, mindset, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Best Friends in Franchising. I'm Morgan Knoller.
And I'm Catherine Allen.
And today we're joined by Nick Clark, Director of Franchising at SPENGA. Nick plays a key role in growing the brand and working directly with the franchise owners as they enter and scale with the system. SPENGA has built a strong position in the boutique fitness space with a differentiated model that combines spin, strength, and yoga into a single workout. Nick, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's an honor, and I love that I get to talk to a couple of best friends today.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to have you on and can't wait to learn more about SPENGA.
Great. So let's start simple. For someone who's never heard of SPENGA or been to SPENGA, what is this workout exactly, and how is that structured in 60 minutes?
Yeah, so SPENGA stands for Spin, Strength, and Yoga. I'm not proud when I say this. It actually took me like 2 weeks to figure out that was like those three words together to equate to SPENGA. It took me a little bit minute, it took me a minute to figure that out. But it's just that spin, strength, and yoga in a 60-minute workout. And they focus on the 20 minute concept. Okay. So each phase you spend 20 minutes on, and then you move on to the next thing. And it's a low impact, high calorie burn workout, right? And that low impact piece is really important because low impact equals longevity, and members are able to stay around for a long time. So it's a fantastic workout, and it's the only boutique fitness brand on the market that focuses on all three pillars. Some are close, right? Like some might do two, but no one does three.
Yeah, I can't think of any others, that's for sure. And in terms of membership costs, typically range 150, 250 per month, depending on the market. Where does SPENGA fall in that range? And how many clients does a studio, like how many can they typically take on?
Yeah. I mean the range will vary. So SPENGA offers 4 times, 8 times, and unlimited sessions per month. Okay. The unlimited sessions per month is by far the most popular. About 60% of studios report like that's the membership that people like to get. On average, that's about $174. On the high end, like Orange County, California, I think it was like 219, but that's also the market for it, right? Like it's going to be a little bit more, but if you're in a less expensive part of the country, like maybe that number is a little bit lower. SPENGA is going to help you figure out exactly where to set that price, so you're going to be able to, just have a really strong revenue stream. And then, on average, studios open with 300 plus members. Okay. That's strong. That is recurring revenue right away as soon as you open your doors. Minimum 150 to open, but I've talked to the founders and they're like, we can't think of anyone in recent memory that hasn't opened with 300 plus members. On the high end, I think our studio in Minneapolis, I was just on a validation call with them the other day. They are flirting with 400 members right now. And generally, you just think there's about 24 open spaces in each class. And then if you offer 7 to 8 classes per day on average, that's where you're going to get your average membership. But certainly you can offer more classes if there's demand for it. It just kind of depends on what's happening. So, generally that 300 plus mark is where most studios are, pushing closer to 400.
Okay. And so you just said 24 people usually in a class max.
Yep.
So that's kind of interesting and like good to, to know. I mean, like Pilates is so hot right now, right?
Right.
But typically Pilates maxes out in a class, 12 to 14.
Yeah, because the machines and things, it's a lot of space taken.
Yeah. So that's some, additional revenue to capture,
And you look at, a couple of things, right? So you have your 24 spaces, okay? You have 24 spin bikes. And then when you move into the strength training phase, everyone still has their own space. You're not sharing equipment with anyone. You move into the yoga space. Everyone has their own equipment. You're not sharing it with anyone. And then after each phase, all the equipment is cleaned by the staff member working in the front. So everything's really clean, everything's really taken care of. All right. Now, the each class, there's going to be, let's say your 6 a.m. class is your most popular class, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a wait list for this class. You can sign up, Catherine, you put your name on that wait list and you're waiting. And Morgan's in the class and she decides to no show, right? Let's just say Morgan's like, nah, the kids kept me up all night. I'm not going to class this morning.
Such a repeat offender of that over here. Such a repeat
So
offender.
maybe I should have flipped that, right? Maybe Catherine. But my point is that there is a no-show fee. Now that no-show fee is only like $15, right? But it's to protect the Catherines that are trying to get into that class. And so next time Morgan's like, you know what? My child or my young kid at home is sick right now. I'm just going to cancel this class just to make sure I don't get charged for it. That late cancel no-show fee has been generating close to like $50,000 a year just in additional revenue. And all it is it's just like a $10 to $15 charge it just happens once. And then, Morgan's like, you know what? I got it. I'm going to be really good about this going forward. So that's just like another additional line of revenue that SPENGA's enrolled out there. And all it is just, it's protecting the franchisee, right? Because if Catherine, let's say Morgan stays signed up, never shows up, and you're always on the wait list, why are you going to continue paying for this class if you can't even get into the 6 a.m. session that fits into your schedule?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's similar to ClassPass. Like ClassPass, that was the model with the no-show late fee, and it crushed me, unfortunately. But yeah, hey, I'm glad. But as a franchise owner, which is who we're talking to, potential franchise owners of SPENGA, absolutely great revenue stream. And when you say 50,000, is that like on average per location or across multiple? Or
yeah, on average across multiple, right? It's going to vary depending on maybe the
not like we should be focusing on that, but
and that's not all that is to say is like you're just protecting your own investment, right? You're just making sure that members are able to get what they're paying for, and all of this is up front. There is no like Morgan decides to show up and she's like, oh, I didn't know there was a cancellation. Morgan, I feel like I'm picking on you right now.
That's
Morgan,
okay.
Yeah, Morgan's not actually the one not showing up, but
Morgan's the responsible one of the two of us.
Okay, noted. But it's not like it's not made clear when you sign up, so you know what you're signing up for, right?
Yes. And typically we see 70 to 90% of revenue coming from memberships. Is it somewhere around there for SPENGA? And what else is driving revenue for this model?
Yeah, I mean, certainly like for a lot of just fitness gyms, right? Like that is going to be the recurring. So SPENGA recently moved to a 4-week billing cycle rather than the monthly billing cycle. So you get one more billing cycle per year. It's going to drive about $50,000 more in revenue. I already mentioned the no-show and the late cancellation. The other thing that it's driving revenue is that now we have a smaller footprint. So originally we had a 3,500 to 4,000 square foot requirement for the build out, but now you can go as low as 3,000 square feet. So per square footage, you're paying less in your lease per month. And so it's going to save you money. It's going to generate revenue on the back end, and it's going to be less expensive in your build out. And how we do that is we just convert the strength and the yoga into the same space. So Spin still has its own dedicated section. You'll go to your strength. After the strength, it just converts into yoga. And so like that's another way that we're driving revenue. We also partnered with a few different brands, okay, because it's a lot of wellness is happening right now in the fitness industry. And so you've got the option for some nutrition assistance. So like you could talk to the manager and you'll be able to speak to someone about nutrition assistance and learn and educate yourself there. Supplements, they work with a nationwide retail supplement. And so you can get some supplements. They offer red light therapy. And so the studios that are opening now will have red light therapy. And then if you're already existing and if you have the space available, you'll have red light therapy. But some places, the space may not be available. So, they're going to allow those they're not going to worry with those studios. They'll work
And is
with.
that an add-on fee, or is that like a perk you get as an unlimited member? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it'll be an add-on fee, but
Okay.
it'll be available, to all members. And then they've partnered with Lululemon, and so now in their retail section at all these stores, you can have Spanga branded Lululemon gear, which I actually have on right now. This is a great shirt. This is a great polo. I know we're doing a podcast and they can't see us, but it's a great polo.
Oh no, they can see us. They
Oh,
can
great!
see us. We have, yeah.
Both.
We have both.
Oh, I love that.
But
Yeah.
that's great, because I feel like that's where a lot of these boutique fitness, like, businesses are going to struggle. It's like the health and wellness space is taking over. So if you don't adapt, if you don't add in red light therapy or a luxury brand of retail, something like that, then you might be behind. So that's wonderful to hear that you're ahead of it. You're already doing it.
Yeah, and I mean the founders have been doing this since they've been with Spenga since 2015. Okay, but they've already successfully franchised another like more box gym concept prior to this.
Okay.
So for 60 locations in the Midwest, they're not new to franchise. They're not new to ownership. They've got the playbook, and so they read the tea leaves, right? And they see
Yeah.
that the wellness isn't, and like Pilates is hot right now. Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's not uncommon to see Pilates type workouts featured between the strength and the yoga, because they hear from members, right? Members might come and do the Spanga workout a couple times a week, but then maybe they have a membership to go run on a treadmill somewhere, right? Or maybe they'll do a Pilates workout and they really like it, but they still keep coming back to Spanga and they bring that up. Well, our founders hear it and they look to see how they can also incorporate some of those things. So if you go to, month long, if you attend Spanga, you're going to see some of those types of workouts. Now, it's not going to be like every time you go, but you're going to see some of those workouts kind of like filter in.
That's awesome. So talk to us about initial investment. So footprint has been downsized slightly.
Yep.
Can we talk about numbers are we still in 2024? Can we talk about 2025?
Yeah, I think if we do this tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to talk about it because like we are
Oh,
at that point where we're filing, but
okay.
we haven't filed yet. So I can give you
Okay.
just some of those initial investments. Now,
Okay.
again, there's two models. You have the traditional model, which is going to be more square footage, which is going to be obviously a little bit more investment. You're going to look at maybe 560 to 720, $100,000. Okay. The combo model is going to be much smaller. It's going to be maybe 460 to 560. And that's because you're saving space on that square footage in your build out. Now, it's important to know when you sign your franchise agreement, you're not committing to one or the other. It's when you go out and find the right real estate space, that's when you're going to make your decision. And
Okay.
Spega is going to help you do that. We work with a national retail agency, real estate agency.
Yeah.
The rep, she's been doing it for 30 years in the fitness space specifically. She knows what works for Spenga. She knows what to look for. They work with local brokers, and that local broker is going to headhunt for you, and then Cressa is going to review it and help them. So if you find a spot that's 3,000 square feet, that is the best location, great. If you find one that maybe it's 3,800 square feet, then you'll make the decision like, yes, this is going to be it, but you're also going to you're going to get it the revenue back, right? Because you're going to get your investment back because that's such a great space.
Right. And that kind of leads me into the next question, because I know a lot of times the biggest question we get from candidates is like, it's a big investment. They're a little bit nervous about it. When can they see that money back? So I know we're selling memberships up front. Is it like 12 to 18 months typically, or what are you seeing for the franchise owners?
Like with most things, it depends on the area you're in and what you're able to set your membership at. But yeah, like, that, 6 months would definitely be great. On average, I think it's closer to that 18 months, but you're still going to see it early in your lifespan of franchising. I mean, we've had some studios just crush and get close to the $1 million mark for revenue. So, I mean, if you get yourself in, like we're really hot in Florida, we're hot in Texas right now, Georgia, okay, like some of these areas, like these are high population areas, and you get that membership going and you've got an owner that's just really passionate about it. Yeah, I mean, they absolutely will see their money back sooner rather than later.
That's great.
Yeah. So who's the right franchisee for this? Like when you think of your top performing owners across the system, who's really thriving? Like what's your ideal candidate?
I mean, this is going to be no surprise, right? But it's got to be passionate. Okay. Like it's like with anything, if you're passionate about it, you're going to care about it and you're going to take care of it. Now, they don't need the fitness background, right? That is not, it's
Mhm.
not a requirement, but someone with some business sense, someone who likes to lead, because you're going to have a small team. Even
Yep.
in the executive ownership, you're still going to need to lead your GM. Okay. And you've got the owner operator and the executive ownership. So you're still going to need to lead a group of people. It's going to be someone who cares about health and wellness, someone who wants to impact your community. Um, it, I've done the workout, and it's such a community feel, right? And so, like, there's a woman, she's 70 years old. So this is in Chicago, Naperville. Okay, 70 years old, getting ready to run her 13th marathon, and she was a member of the OG Mokina, Illinois Spenga, the original spot. All right, she's working out in Naperville now, but she's been with them for 10 years and she loves the workout. She keeps them back. They know her. They talk about, like, they go running together, outside as she trains. I mean, it's incredible. Same thing. There's another woman that's pregnant and they know she's pregnant and they're adapting the workout for her every phase, every step of the way. Like, hey, this group is going to do this type of lift. This is how you adapt this lift. We're going to do
Mhm.
this move in yoga. Hey, this is how you adapt this move. And like, it's just that community feel. And so I say that because that's what you're getting. And so for if someone doesn't want that hands-on feel, or someone wants like I'm just going to let my GM run with it and I'm just going to kind of sit back here and let the revenue come in, probably not for you. That community experience is really important.
That makes sense. And just to like based on those two people you just shared, who's your target audience then for this? Because you just talked about a 70-year-old and someone who's pregnant, which I
Yeah.
would imagine is 30 or less,
Yeah.
maybe a little older, but
Now, so two things. One, that the target group is really anyone because it's low impact. Like everyone can do this. It's high calorie shredding, right? I looked at my heart. I was doing it. My heart rate, I don't think, dropped below 160 for like the first 45. It wasn't until we got the yoga that my heart rate started to slow down. Okay. When I did it. So it's a great workout. I'm 40, by the way. So, there you go.
hey, 40 Club.
That's
Yeah.
40 club. Um, it does skew like that 30 to 45-year-old range, but it's available for everyone. Like there is no like dedicated age range to any of this. Now, um, we look for like some of the demographics. If you're looking to set up, 7,500 households making $75,000 or more is where we kind of plant our flag because that's the model that we've found to be successful. Um, and then, men or women, anyone can come to this. It's open for everyone. It skews a little bit more female, but it's not exclusive like one or the other.
That makes
That's
sense. Thank you.
yeah. So let's get into retention and performance here. Catherine, I know you had a question about like the retention percentage for the monthly churn.
Yeah. So retention's everything in fitness, as we know. Industry wide, we typically see a monthly churn of 3 to 8% for strong concepts. Where does Spenga land
Yeah,
in that?
right in there, 94% retention. So it's really strong. And I mentioned, members leave not because they don't like the workout, but it's because they're moving, or it's
Mhm.
because they've had a life changing event that they no longer can be a part of Spenga. And we've got about 50 studios open. So it's not like you're going to move into another city where, boom, you can just, join another studio. So we've got great membership. And part of that is just because the longevity of the workout. Like I'm doing the workout and I kept checking with my body, right? Like my hips decided to stop working a couple of years ago. So I've got to stay flexible and stretch them. If I run, my knees hurt. Like I mentioned earlier, in a previous life, I was a college volleyball coach. And so I've hit so many volleyballs in my life. I check in with my shoulder all the time. And I felt great after the workout. And a couple of days after, I'm checking in with my body. I felt great. But that's the norm, is that people feel great and you're able to continue doing it. And so like that's why that retention rate is so high, is because you're able to keep doing the workout for a long period of time.
Well, I was just going to ask you what sets you apart from the top performers, but that I think you kind of hit most of it, because I know that there is another boutique fitness studio down the street for me, but the feedback I'm getting is that it's really high intensity. I have an elbow injury. I'm always like hesitant to put a lot of weight on my arms because I always am super sore the next day. And then, I'd love to go to something with my husband, but the workouts I typically like are not the workouts he's going to like. We have a huge height difference. He has no flexibility. I love to try and be flexible. So we're just kind of all over the place, but it's starting to feel like this is what's setting you apart. Is like we both could go to Spenga. We both could get an individual workout based on like what we're able to do physically.
Yes. Yeah. You should really take him and just see what he thinks about it. Like this isn't, this workout isn't for the person that's going to try it. Like they want to deadlift 400 pounds, right? Like that's not what this is. You're still going to get a good workout for your strength portion, but like, yeah, it's not going to be like the Olympic lifting, um, you know, but the high intensity workouts are great. But again, it just beats up your body. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done some of these other workouts from these other clubs, and like I can't keep up with the running because it hurts my
Kind of
knees too
like,
much. It knocks
yeah.
me
Yeah.
out for a couple of days. So I'm not going to get a membership because I can't do it 4 times a week.
Yeah.
We just had a berries boot camp open in Walnut Creek, and I used to do berries like all the time when I was in my 20s in San Francisco, pre torn ACL and MCL. And so now I too have to be I can't run. Like I was just barely running around more. Like for soccer this weekend, we had all these demos, and all of a sudden my knee was like killing me and it almost gave out. And I wasn't coaching. I was just running around helping set up. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious me. But anyways, it's yeah, I'd love to try it, but I'm so scared because I honestly don't know if my body can handle that 15 years later from when I did it last. So this would be great for me, is my
Yes.
point.
Yes.
Um, what what are key metrics owners should be watching to consistently stay on track with growth?
Yeah, you're looking at the memberships, okay? And so
Okay.
on average, you're going to get probably over 100 leads uh, per month, okay, come in. And so owners are whoever's handling your sales are going to really want to pay attention to that. And just know every day you're probably going to spend an hour or two doing sales. But that's how you get your membership, and that's how people stay. The other cool thing with doing that as the owner is that, like, Catherine, I'm calling you because I got a lead. I get you to come, and I'm like, I'm going to be at the studio when Catherine comes. So that way she can see me, she can see the owner, and I can develop my relationship with you. And now you're like, Nick, this was a great decision. I'm going to keep coming back. Awesome, Catherine. Like I'm for sure going to see you around because I'm not just showing up only to see you, but I'm showing up because you want the members to see the owner, right? And so it's going to be really important for that relationship to continue. And like you are not expected to know all the ins and outs of every single member, right? And all their backgrounds. But when you do that, it's that added extra touch. And so that leads to membership actually getting them in is really important.
So thank you for sharing that. And so when you say an hour, just I want to make sure I'm clear. So when you say an hour or two of sales per day, are we talking B2B sales? Are we talking B2C? Like,
Yeah.
what does that
So
look like? Where are they going?
so through the marketing, we're gonna help get your name out there. The founders really, really recommend spending. It's going to be like $3,000 to $4,000 a month in marketing. They really recommend spending all of that because that's where you're going to get your leads through just various, national marketing tools that Spenga uses. And it'll be
Okay.
set in your area, obviously. And so following up on those leads is going to be really key. So it's going to be just people filling out like, hey, I'm
Got
interested
it.
in this, and you're going to say, great, I'm going to get you on the phone and I'm going to talk to you.
That makes sense. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. I hear
Yeah.
sales and Morgan and I both think outside sales, knocking on doors on
No, no,
preschools and
no.
schools.
This
But
is
not
this
like
is the
that's what this
leads.
is.
Yep. Leads that come in and you're on your computer seeing all the leads and you're like, okay, I'm going to call these people.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank
That's
you.
good to know, because that's where I think a lot of franchise owners struggle. It's like, where am I getting these leads and how do I do it? So it's so nice to have that support system, which is what is making this such a great franchise.
And I think too, like people have to understand that even if you have no sales background, Spenga's going to guide you through it. So
Mhm.
let's say everything works great. You sign your franchise agreement. What you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to fly out to Chicago, home base, and you're going to go through 3 days of sales training with the founders. And they're going to bring in their consultant that they use who knows how to sell Spenga. And you're going to get a deep dive into the process, how it works, all the marketing. So you are prepared to do that. Then up 90 to 120 days from your grand opening is when you're going to hit the sales hard. And you're still going to have monthly phone calls with the founders checking in like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, I'm struggling with this. Okay, great. Here's how you combat that. Or here are some good franchisees you can talk to because they dealt with that too. And they're going to be able to give you some tools, right? Like we all know that we know how to do it right. But in reality, how I tell you to do it is probably different from how I tell Morgan to do it because of where she lives and because there's something unique in her area. And so they're adaptable in that way just to help you be successful. And that's not it, right? Like after you open up, those monthly calls continue. So whatever support you need, Spenga's got it built in because they want their franchisees to be successful.
I think that's great to hear, and that's why we were so excited to have you on the podcast and really get the word out about Spenga, because so much of, I feel like at the end of the day, many concepts are great concepts and great business models, but it's truly, in my opinion, it's the leadership at the top and them really caring and investing in their franchisees' success, not just saying it, but
Yep.
actually doing it. And then it's the accountability piece, it's the ongoing training and support, because Morgan and I, as franchise owners, like you're drinking from a fire hose at first. It's so much information. Like it truly is. And so it's great to hear you have that. And it's great to hear that there are calls and support in place so that people can kind of navigate through that, especially at the beginning. Like once you're 6, 8 months in, I feel like, you kind of get your own groove going. But yeah, that first like year is like, it's important to have that. And when you have that, it's great.
And it's ongoing too. Like I think that's important to
Yeah.
know. So those monthly calls, like I don't know, Catherine, let's say you've had it for 2 months, right? Or 2 years, right? You've been Spenga franchisee for 2 years, and then all of a sudden something shifts and you're like, I'm not quite sure how to handle this. That support
Yeah.
is still available to you. It's not like it's only there for the first 8 months and then they say, okay, best of luck.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of franchising that people don't understand. They think, oh, I could just start my own business down the street. I'm like, you could, but you're not going to have enough support to make it grow or be successful as quickly. And you won't have that continuous support as you continue to scale or maybe open multiple locations or whatever you want to do. So
Yeah.
And the world is evolving at such a rapid pace with AI. And for business owners, it's such a superpower. But we're in the day to day, we're running our businesses. And so that's where, again, franchising is so great, because the leadership team are a great leadership team, which I'm sure at Spenga they are, obviously, as we're talking about. They're looking ahead, and they have the resources and the time. Like that's kind of what you're buying into, to focus on that and like, okay, we're going to test it, we're going to try it, then we can roll it out to the franchisees and give them best practices and strategies and ways to do it. Versus if you're on your own as like a single entrepreneur or business owner, ew, that is tough. I just think that's tough. That is.
And you're spot on. And a difference that Spenga provides is that they've been doing it for 10 years, like just with Spenga. And so they've got the playbook, they have the track record, right? A lot of these
Right.
other young fitness brands, again, there's a lot of great fitness brands on the market. Okay. This is not like that brand stinks and mine's the best type deal. It's that you've got longevity, you have the track record, and so you've got hard proof and hard facts to show why Spenga is such a great brand to get in with.
And when Morgan and I do our Zoracle assessment, so when we're doing our analysis and recommending brands to our clients, like one of the things we're looking at is this someone who can do an emerging brand, someone who is more entrepreneurial, or is this someone who wants a tried and true, like developed system?
Yeah.
So I think that is a really great call out, Nick, because then for the people out there, because you're right, there are a lot of great concepts out there, but a lot of them are on the newer side and they're
Yep.
not as tried and true. So for anyone listening, great call out.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of leads me into the next question, because the US fitness industry is a $30 billion industry, but boutique fitness has been fast growing since COVID, really. But where do you see the biggest opportunity right now because of this boutique fitness taking off so rapidly?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the market's wide open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got, I told you some of the hot spots earlier, but really all over the country. Like this place fits in cities, like we've got Dallas, Austin, various parts of Florida, like Chicago. I mean, it resonates in the city, but then you look at maybe some even mid markets, like the suburban households, like people clamor for this. So this is not like a small market or a big city type thing. Like it resonates in all markets.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point.
So you kind of just mentioned it, but again, just calling out those target markets, like what are the hot markets right now? Like where, for anyone listening, or for people Morgan and I are talking to, what markets like
Yeah,
are open?
working a lot right now in the South. So Florida, Georgia,
Okay.
Texas.
Okay.
And we're in the middle, refiling season, right? We love it. So we're on pause in a few places, but that's okay. Those places will open up. But like I said, it's the markets are open. So, the hot market is wherever your client is. Because once this gets up and going, like they're going to want to come back. And if they get one territory, they're going to want to come back and scoop up other territories, because we just see what membership hits, we see what the revenue is, and what people can make from this brand.
Great. Well, Nick, it's been great talking to you and learning more about SPENGA. For anyone listening and considering getting into this space or considering buying a SPENGA, what do you want them to know?
Oh man, what do I want them to know? Well, really, I want them to call me.
Why?
Yeah. Call Nick.
Yeah, call Nick. Spenga leads, at franchisefastlane.com. But really, like, you have to know that when you get into this, you're changing lives, right? So the people listening to this want to change their own life because they're looking at getting into franchising, because they're tired of whatever. They're tired of not calling their own shots. They want to run their own business. They want to set up generational wealth for their family, right? That's why you do this. But then you get to be in with Spenga, where you're actually changing the lives of people, right? So you're going to change the life of the 60-year-old that wants to play with her grandkids. Well, she's going to be able to do a low impact workout that's going to keep her in shape so she can chase after her grandkids. You're going to change the life of the woman who is pregnant and just wants to make sure that she is in shape and healthy for her family as she goes through her pregnancy. You're going to help that guy who hasn't worked out in 15 years and he's 100 pounds overweight, but it's a low impact workout. And so you're going to help change his life. So it's like you get the best of all worlds, right? You change your own life, you change your family's life, and you change your community's life. That's why you get into it. And then I'll guide you along the way, right?
It's a great answer.
And you know what you missed is, because I think about this a lot, and I'm sure Morgan does too, you change the lives of your instructors. You give them a great place to work. Like, I mean,
it's high energy.
I don't know where, well, I mean, I've come from, let's just say, toxic places to work. And it's when you're spending most of your time at work, like that's a lot. And so what I've done with that is I have made my business at Soccer Stars the best place to work. I value my employees. I let them know how grateful I am for them all the time. I appreciate them. I celebrate them. I do little things like bringing them donuts for their birthday. Like all those things. Like I love that piece of it, which is what any business owner is doing, right? Like, or has the opportunity to do. And even if it's a manage the manager model, which I have a manager, same thing. I mean, you're the top. You're leading and steering the ship.
And I mentioned earlier, right? It's a small group that you're working with. And so you're going to get to know these people just on a little bit more personal level. And so that atmosphere, you can truly create that atmosphere, that atmosphere where people enjoy coming into work. They enjoy the people they work with. They enjoy the customers. And so you're going to just be able to keep them coming back for more.
And I will say, like, it's true. When you treat your people really well, like that trickles down to your customers.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And customers may not
much.
be able to specifically point out that, yes, this is a great workplace. No, this isn't a great workplace, but they're going to feel it and how people.
They're going to feel it. They are absolutely going to feel that. And I get told that a lot about how much, just how amazing my coaches are. Like, one thing we've made a big deal is, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but like, all kids get name tags always until they memorize everyone's name. And the goal is to learn the kids' names as fast as possible. And it's a lot. I mean, they could have, 60 kids in a morning, like back-to-back classes. And I get shocked at how fast they can learn some of these names. But I had a parent come up to me yesterday, anyways, I digress. But the point is, like, franchising is amazing. SPENGA is amazing. Thank you for coming on, Nick.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I mean, I hope that this isn't the only time I get to talk to you guys. Maybe in a few months I can come back.
2 weeks in real life.
Yeah, let's just do it.
In Utah. It's going to be great.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. You can find us at thefranchiseinsiders.com. Please leave us a review if you enjoyed that episode. And you can also connect with Morgan Noller or myself, Catherine Allen, on LinkedIn. If you are interested in SPENGA, we can help get you connected up with Nick. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For those of you listening, if you have any questions or are interested in franchising, please go to thefranchiseinsiders.com. You can find more information about Morgan and my son. We'll see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Bye.